So the market is just kind of strange right now. You got tariffs, you got high inflation, you got interest rates that are high, you got stock market volatility, but really the Seattle area real estate market has actually stayed fairly stable, including prices. And so I want to show you in today's video what this all means for you and what is really happening in today's real estate market. My name is Matthew Chapman, and I'm a top 1% real estate agent here in the greater Seattle area, and I help home buyers and sellers just like you relocate to this beautiful region that I'm a native of, the Pacific Northwest, the Emerald City. And so if you have questions about today's market, just feel free to message me. Otherwise, just sit back, relax, and enjoy what I have to say about this very weird real estate market that we're in right now. So you can't really start talking about the local real estate market here without first looking at the national market and even the worldwide market, what's happening on a global scene. So we're going to take it step by step right now so we can really understand what's happening here on a much more local micro level. Now, interest rates have held steady at about 6.5 to 7%. I know it's kind of a bit of a bummer news. Many of us were hoping and waiting for interest rates to fall. And really what's happened is buyers just aren't super motivated to get out there and purchase the house. They're taking their time, and it's really sidelined a number of buyers because of affordability. That being said, we still have a significant buyer demand in this area, in the greater Seattle region, because of our economy. Our economy is doing well. The tech sector is doing well. AI is starting to take off in this region. And so while people aren't rushing out to go buy homes, there is a significant buyer demand here, and that is good news for the real estate market. So that gives you a sense of what's been happening nationally, but I really want to take you deep into the greater Seattle real estate market because that is very different and we are very unique here, and we're positioned actually quite well, and I'm going to get into that now. Let's start with inventory. Inventory is really in regards to the number of homes for sale, which has really dominated the headlines here in this region, and that's for good reason. So check this out. In Seattle, active inventory hit 1,389 homes by the end of June. That's actually the highest month-to-end total since June 2019, and it's actually 35% higher than this time last year. Now, on the Eastside market, which is just east of Lake Washington, you just go over the bridge from Seattle and you're going to be in the suburbs. We call that the Eastside. That's Kirkland, Bellevue, Redmond. I'm actually standing in Bellevue right now. You got Issaquah, you got Woodinville, Bothell. Those are the east side of Seattle, just cross the bridge there. So that's a little bit of a different market. We're going to talk about that market here. So on the east side market, we actually saw 1,428 homes for sale just recently, and that's actually just shy of double of what we saw just June of 2024. And it's actually more than double of what we saw just 3 months ago in March, when inventory sat at only 684 homes. 684 homes. That gives you a real sense of how fast things have changed. But here's the thing that most people miss. It's that inventory levels, the number of homes for sale in this market, are actually at pretty low levels. Actually, when you compare it to the historic average, we're doing quite well, and it's still low numbers when it comes to inventory, especially if you're looking at pre-COVID numbers. Now, I will tell you that every pocket, every little micro neighborhood in Seattle and on the east side neighborhoods behaves a little bit differently, and they have their own microclimate when it comes to inventory levels. So if you're curious about a specific neighborhood that you're interested in, just feel free to comment below or message me, or text me is the best way to reach me, and I will be sure to get those inventory levels and really the inside scoop of what's going on in that microclimate for you. So we just looked at inventory levels. Now I want to actually show you what demand is looking like in this market. How many buyers are actually out there wanting to purchase homes or sellers wanting to sell homes. And I'll just say this, that even though that we have actually seen an uptick in the number of homes for sale in this market, the buyer demand has actually held relatively steady. Pending sales are up 4% compared to last year. Closed sales are also up slightly, just 1% year over year. And on the east side, demand has dipped a little, with pending sales down 5% and closed sales down 6%. But that's actually still relatively stable given the surge in inventory that we're experiencing. So while more homes are available in this market, buyers do have more choices. I would just say that buyers are rushing in. They're not rushing into this market. They're more into the market because they actually have to move, because they're experiencing a divorce or a job change or something significant is happening in their life. And we have a lot of job opportunities here in this market. And so that's what's created the buyer demand to really hold relatively steady, even with high interest rates and the uncertainty of the global economy. So we've actually seen some good news and a slight uptick in the value of homes in the Seattle market proper. Right now, the median home price for sale in Seattle is $1,079,000. That's a 13% increase from last year. And on the east side, prices were slightly down. They were actually at $1,610,000, which is 2% lower than June of 2024. But please keep in mind that the east side market still has some of the highest values in terms of home sales in the entire region of this area. So if you're waiting for a crash, you might be waiting for a long time, because I'm here to tell you right now that prices in this region certainly have softened, but they are not crashing by any means. And that shows up in the numbers. Let me show you this right here. So let's look at the inventory levels right now. We have a 2-month supply in Seattle and a 2.3-month supply on the east side. We're actually in a balanced to a buyer-favored territory here, and that means that buyers have more choices, and they actually have some negotiating room. But really, homes that check all the boxes, they are the ones that go quickly, and they don't last long, and they're often gone in less than 7 days. Now, I will say that some homes are sitting on the market for quite some time. We're seeing some homes sit for 30, 60, even 90 days, and we're seeing even some sellers with unrealistic price valuations just cancel their listings, rent their house out, and hope for a better day that they can get price-wise on their house, maybe a year or two down the road. But I would say that there's definitely some negotiating room on those homes for buyers, but by and large, the homes that check all the boxes for buyers and that are presented well and that are priced well are actually selling in as quick as 3 days. I just had a listing recently that sold above asking in 3 days with multiple offers. And so we're still seeing that happen in this market, and you just have to know how to navigate and what your negotiating power is as a buyer. And every home is really unique, and that's where you need a good realtor at the helm that's helping you, inform you of what decisions you can and cannot make so that you can actually get the best deal possible and secure the house of your dreams. Overall, I would say for buyers out there, there's a lot more opportunities, and that patience is the name of the game. This is one of the first time in many years that you actually can be a bit more patient because of the slight uptick, albeit inventory levels that we're seeing in this market. So the big question you might be asking right now is, what should I do? Well, if I were in your shoes, I would say patience is the name of the game, but you got to get in the game and you got to start actively looking for homes. You really need to be walking through these homes with a realtor, or you need to be doing video tours so that you can get a better understanding of what the house actually looks like. Because I'll tell you right now that some of those listing photos online are not really showing the home in an accurate way. If I were in your shoes, I would also say that if you are a unicorn buyer out there, I mean, you're just waiting for that house to come up, and you want that almost perfect house, which really is super rare, it's like a unicorn, then you actually have the power to wait right now. And just take your time and be active in the market and just wait for that house to arrive. But you better be certain that you have a pre-approval ready, or that you have your finances in order, and that you've talked to a lender, that you're working with a realtor, so that when that unicorn house does come on the market, you're ready to strike, you're ready to act, you're ready to go and get it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, that house is going to be gone in probably 2 or 3 days, because it's probably somebody else's unicorn as well. Now, if you're a seller out there, I will tell you this, is that with more competition, you need to win the beauty contest and the price war to find success in this market. That means that you got to price your home correctly, you got to get it staged, you got to get it cleaned up, you got to present it well, and you really need a realtor to walk through the home. I can come over and preview your house and show you what updates may or may not need to happen and what's going to to gain you the most dollars if you were to do those updates. I tell some people, some sellers, don't worry about doing this, but make sure you do this. And there's really not a secret formula. It really depends. Every house is so unique, but prep and price is going to go a long way in making sure that you have a successful real estate home sale. Now, I will tell you as a seller that pricing is really the silent killer in your house. If you overprice it, it's going to get stale. It's going to lag on the market. We are not, this is a newsflash, but we are not in the COVID market anymore where everything is hot. The real estate market was on fire. That's not the market we're in anymore. We're in a much more normalized market that we've seen historically, where homes that are for sale are going to experience competition, and those homes that are for sale can do well and will do well if they're priced appropriately and presented well, and they have a good realtor at the helm. Now, looking ahead, if I stare into my crystal ball long enough, I actually see inventory levels increasing in this market, especially towards the end of summer and the fall. And then it'll start to taper off a little bit during the holiday season. But I expect inventory levels to increase, and I also expect them to climb from 6,000 homes that we're seeing right now, maybe even up to 8,000 to 10,000 homes if things shift even more. So in summary, I certainly don't see a real estate crash forecasted in this market, but I also really don't see a frenzy either. Now, if interest rates hit in the mid-fives, which that would make everybody a little giddy, I think we're going to be seeing a big rush in the market, and that perhaps could create a bit of an uptick, a bit of a frenzy. We'll see more bidding wars happen there. But for now, this is actually a really good opportunity for a buyer out there because you have choice and you have some negotiating power, and you actually have power, which is the first time that maybe you've been experiencing this as a buyer in quite some time. So it's a great time to get in the market, and you can consider, maybe getting that higher interest rate now. If you can afford the monthly payment, my advice would be to get the house. Don't worry about your interest rate for now, as long as you can afford the monthly payment. And I hope, and I think we all expect interest rates to go down at some point, and then you can refinance that loan into a less expensive mortgage payment. Overall, in this real estate market, we are stuck in a little bit of a weird zone, but weird doesn't always mean bad. There are actually lots of opportunities right now for the first time that we're seeing in quite a number of years. And so if you are interested in purchasing a home or selling a home, I'd love to help you navigate that decision. And make sure that you like and you subscribe to my channel. I'm Matthew Chapman, and I'll see you next time.